this way. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I do not think Kevin Stefanski wants Shedeur Sanders to succeed in Cleveland. The reason being is, don't tell me what he said. Don't tell me what he's saying. I'm going off of actions. All right, let's go off.
Late to black players. Cultured black players. This coach done been in the league since 2005. That's 20 years. And you only coached 3 players that I deem is cultured. It's abundantly clear that you don't want to see Shedeur Sanders win. He's not like Kirk Cousins. He's not like Dylan Gabriel. When he comes in for the first down and he does that, it's not a distraction, bro. You got to understand that. I don't think Kevin
What they don't want you to see is way wilder than the usual headlines. Cam Newton didn't just talk about the locker room tension. He exposed it like he was dropping leaked files and a signed confession on the table. The moment Shedeur Sanders stepped in, the whole vibe flipped fast, and suddenly Kevin Stefanski looked like a coach trying to patch a sinking ship with one hand. Hidden agendas, quiet friction, and a playbook that felt like it belonged to another sport. Cam said it all with no hesitation. Cam's message wasn't gossip. It was a warning shot. Stay locked in for this because it gets even crazier. If you're enjoying this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps more than you think. Cam Newton didn't sit in that podcast chair like he was there for a relaxed conversation.
There wasn't a single moment of like, yeah, that was a good moment for our team. Why is that? A lot of people are wondering that, Shefty.
Yeah, well, I think, and I know a lot of people are up in arms with the way Kevin Stefanski has treated Shedeur Sanders. I think he's been quietly supportive behind the scenes. Like, he's worked with him every single day. He supports. This is not a personal thing. People saying, well, why didn't he name him the starter after the game? Well, how about like, does anybody think Shedeur is not going to start this week? I think we all do. But give the head coach some time to go back, look at the film, talk to the staff, talk to the players. How about letting Dylan Gabriel know, hey, we're going to take another look at Shedeur this week before you announce it to the...
He sat down like he had NFL secrets locked in a briefcase and a reason to say everything out loud. The second Shedeur Sanders and Kevin Stefanski's names came up, Cam leaned forward like someone calling out every unspoken issue in a room full of nervous faces. He didn't blink, didn't slow down, didn't soften anything. He laid it out. He practically dropped a massive "we need to talk" sign on the entire league. According to Cam, there is no world, none, zero, not even on Madden, with the difficulty turned to rookie where Kevin Stefanski genuinely wants Shedeur Sanders to shine.
And then he gets a chance to start. They ain't win in months. Then they finally win. And he gives him love like that.
Big, huge play. Huge play. Harold making a big play. And then another rookie making his first start. Nice start, Shedeur. Well done.
I have historically, if you will, caped for Stefanski, especially on this show.
Any tripping?
First off, Stefanski, you have 6 wins in 2 seasons. Shedeur Sanders, in his first start, for an organization that hasn't won a game since October 19th, goes out there and beats down the...
Sure, Stefanski gives polite smiles on camera, taps helmets, and says motivational lines like he's trying to win the Coach of the Year commercial, but deep down, it sounds like he treats Shedeur's success the same way someone treats a ketchup stain on a white couch. Pretend it's not there and hope nobody points it out. Then comes the moment in the locker room that set everything on fire. Not good. Beautiful. Shedeur walks in with the energy of a 5-star transfer who knows exactly who he is. The room shifts instantly. Like his sneakers were made out of confidence and potential that made everyone stare. The equipment manager felt it. The wall decor felt it. Even the Gatorade bottle probably rotated like, oh boy, here we go. Cam describes it like Stefanski was watching his house get eaten from the inside, doing his best to stay calm while his mind was yelling. And Stefanski? He wasn't feeling it. Not at all. Cam didn't come out and say it directly, but he painted the picture perfectly. Stefanski running out of vitamins trying to keep his stress levels down every time Shedeur makes a big play. Because if Shedeur shines too bright, Stefanski suddenly looks like the coach, just holding the flashlight while someone else does the real work. The wildest part is how people in sports media pretend the air is calm. They hit that fake neutral voice, oh, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure the chemistry is solid. I'm sure everyone is aligned. Meanwhile, Cam is sitting there like a parent who saw the report card and knows the story isn't adding up. Wonderful is definitely not the word Cam would use.
So more than anything is them BS narratives and tropes about that man's intelligence, about that man's moxie, about his ability to lead men, about his ability to understand and think the game. You running around out here talking about he couldn't get in and out of the huddle. I saw him get in and out of that huddle and manage the game beautifully today. What I saw today, I saw people gravitating to him. I saw people, when there was an opportunity to fold up, I saw people rallying around. Big time throws on the run, get hit, jersey all stained up.
He'd go with something like explosive, heated, or that one table at a family holiday where two grown men refuse to talk to each other. Then comes the agenda, the part where everything gets really messy. Stefanski, according to this breakdown, has some old-school belief that quarterbacks shouldn't walk in acting like main characters. Meanwhile, Shedeur walked in like the lead of a movie trilogy that hasn't even started filming but already has posters, merch, and a theme song. Some quarterbacks whisper confidence. Shedeur speaks it with a megaphone. So Cam, in the only style Cam knows, loud, bold, dramatic, breaks the tension on air the same way someone smashes a glass to stop a wedding. He made sure nobody could pretend this wasn't happening. He basically said, look, this isn't about football. This is about egos trying to fit in one room, and one of those egos is wearing designer sunglasses indoors. Cam Newton understands quarterback politics better than almost anyone in the league.
Together, like I told you we needed to, right? Stay resilient together, and we fought together. How about Gage's big punt return on special teams? How about Corey? Every single time you're out there pinning those guys doing your job. Great job. Come on! Offense wasn't perfect. How about that big play by Sam at the end? IB, huge play. Q, huge play. Harold making a big play. And then another rookie making his first start. Nice job, Shedeur. Well done. There's that old saying, save the best for last. How about that f***ing defense?
He lived through the era where quarterbacks were supposed to act like corporate mascots. Clean, quiet, and safe for commercials. Then here comes Shedeur Sanders, blowing up that whole outdated model like a human software update nobody approved, but everyone suddenly had to deal with. The most Cam Newton thing about this whole situation is the way he breaks it down like he's narrating a documentary he already watched 3 times and knows the ending by heart. He's not warning Stefanski that Shedeur is coming. He's saying Shedeur was never planning to tiptoe into the building or wait for a green light in the first place. Shedeur is allergic to standing around and immune to intimidation. If he wanted to walk into the locker room spinning a gold football like a game show prop, he would, and nothing in that room would shift his energy one bit. What melts Stefanski's mind, Cam suggests, isn't Shedeur's confidence. It's the loyalty around him. That's where the math stops making sense for a coach trying to keep everything controlled. When coaches feel threatened by a quarterback, they usually pick one of 2 strategies: oversell them in public or overcontrol them behind closed doors. Cam made it sound like Stefanski went straight to option 2, the smile for the cameras. Tighten the grip backstage strategy.
I'm Shedeur, or if I'm a Shedeur Sanders fan, I would not want him to take the field because that's going to consistently be the display we're going to see. It doesn't matter if it's Deshaun Watson. It doesn't matter if it's Shedeur Sanders. It doesn't matter if it's Dylan Gabriel. It doesn't matter if it's Dan Orlovsky. It doesn't matter if it's Cam Newton. You need help in Cleveland when you have a quarterback that's still making $46 million on your roster and he's not healthy. That impacts the talent that's around him. They are not.
That classic leadership style of, I support you, but don't you dare step outside the invisible box I built around your personality. Shedeur in a box? Not happening, the same way water isn't dry. The funniest part is that everyone around the team already knows how this story ends. You can't keep players quiet when they've been performing under bright lights their whole lives. Shedeur treats pressure like Wi-Fi. He needs a strong signal to operate. Stefanski treats pressure like a gas leak. He wants it gone fast. Cam didn't have to say the words Stefanski doesn't want Shedeur to win. The way he told the story already screamed it without him speaking it directly. It sounded exactly like when someone says they aren't jealous, then spends 45 minutes explaining why someone else isn't that impressive. If Stefanski truly loved Shedeur's rise, the locker room wouldn't feel like it's buzzing with tension every time his name gets mentioned. And here's the sneaky angle Cam spotlighted without even trying.
Crazy. It's amazing, you know, off of 1 week of practice, you know what I mean? This 1 week of practice. So imagine, you know, what a full offseason look like. It get dangerous. But it's just a 1 week of practice, so I'm just truly thankful, you know.
Shedeur winning doesn't just lift Shedeur. It lifts everything around him. The noise, the attention, the Sanders brand, the whole momentum that comes with him. The more Shedeur dominates, the less control Stefanski has. And nothing stresses out a structure-loving coach more than a quarterback with swagger, fan energy, and a last name that shakes the sports world like a bell every time it's spoken. You can almost picture Stefanski trying to figure out which headache hurts more, pushing against Shedeur or fully supporting him and risking getting overshadowed.
Saying, with only a week of practice, I was able to do that. Well, just give me more, and I will be able to give you more. The reason why he's running or rolling out, he probably slid the protection the wrong way, and he knew, okay, I have to make a play. That throw that he made was a wild play. When was the last time? And that is including Johnny Manziel. That is including Zapp. That is including Baker Mayfield. That is including every single quarterback that has ever been a part of the Cleveland Browns to say, wow.
It's like choosing between burning the toast or burning the whole kitchen. Either way, something is smoking and it's not a win for him. Cam knows this pattern because he lived it. Coaches love stars, but only stars they feel they built from the ground up. They don't like when a quarterback walks in already shining like a finished product. Shedeur didn't show up as a project. He showed up prepackaged. Stefanski wanted a quarterback, not an earthquake. Every time Cam mentioned the agenda, you could practically hear the message hidden under every word. Stefanski wants order. Shedeur is controlled chaos. And chaos wins games if you let it run free instead of trying to cage it. That's the real issue. Stefanski's pride wants structure more than victory, while Shedeur wants victory more than anyone's comfort. The locker room tension is just the smoke. The fire is the philosophy clash. Will the team run off a rigid system or off a spark that refuses to dim?
Wouldn't you, just to see if it does anything to the offense, give him an opportunity to go in there and play?
Yeah, obviously my focus is where we are right now, Mary Kay. That's not my focus.
If he had said to you guys, hey, I want to play, I can play, I mean, would that have factored into this at all? Or what was the thinking behind that and how'd that go?
Yeah, he obviously came in Saturday with his back injury. We were hopeful that he'd be able to move around well enough to suit up on Sunday, but put him through a pregame warm-up, and obviously it just didn't feel like he was.
Cam made it clear. The spark always wins in the end, and this one isn't going anywhere. This isn't a partnership. It's a full-speed collision waiting for the right week, the right loss, or the right headline to blow everything open. Cam Newton didn't create this fire. He just pointed at the smoke and said, hey, you smell that too, right? Shedeur Sanders isn't slowing down. Stefanski isn't loosening up. The locker room isn't clueless, and the clock is ticking because talent doesn't shrink. Swagger doesn't shrink. Ambition doesn't shrink. But comfort does. And Stefanski looks like the most uncomfortable man in the entire NFL right now. If Cam is right, and he said it with the confidence of someone who's not guessing.
And you connect with Bond after scrambling out to your right, avoiding the blitz, and you throw that 52-yard touchdown pass. You throw the swing pass, and you get a 66-yard, another touchdown there as well. I give credit where credit is due to Sampson. That is, I give credit where credit is due, because obviously the first week was awful. 25% completion percentage last week when he came in. This week, 55% completion, 47 yards passing. This time, 2,209. A touchdown pass yesterday. Give credit where credit is.
Then this story isn't about whether Shedeur will win. It's about how long everyone can keep pretending they're completely fine with it. That's the real part they don't want fans to notice, because here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. If Shedeur starts winning early, loudly, and repeatedly, this becomes his team by pure gravitational force. Not because he demanded control. Not because he fought for a takeover, but because teams always orbit around the quarterback who makes touchdowns look personal. If the playbook was a coloring book, Shedeur would be the guy coloring over the lines with a highlighter just to prove the lines were optional. Coaches hate that kind of freedom, but fans devour it like it's their favorite meal. What makes the whole thing even funnier is how the locker room reacts every time Shedeur speaks. Heads turn, not because he's asking for attention, but because confidence has a sound, and everyone in the room hears it. The players feel it. Stefanski feels it too, even if he'd rather sense anything else in the world. The whispers floating around the team, not official, not written, just drifting like rumors always do, sound like a countdown. If Shedeur starts stacking wins, the team will rally behind him without hesitation.
Kevin Stefanski why do you do that? Why do you just come out and say, hey, this is cool?
I'm out.
I'll tell you why.
Why don't you just say this is this first rookie since when to win?
1995 to win their debut for the Browns.
And I know he didn't go for 300 or whatever. And stats are we're trying to find, it's hard to find all that. But still, at quarterback, the position, the vibe, to win a game like that, especially for Cleveland. Now, granted, he's saying a lot of things that people are like, relax. Okay, you need to but that's not Shedeur. Like, that is not what Shedeur is, which could be exactly what Cleveland Browns need, which is actually what he said in his pregame interview before.
Not because they dislike Stefanski, but because players follow momentum the same way plants follow sunlight. And if one guy keeps dragging the scoreboard toward wins, that guy becomes the sun. You follow the sun, period. That's what Cam was getting at in the most dramatic, raised eyebrow way possible. Stefanski isn't battling Shedeur the player. He's battling gravity, and nobody beats gravity. You might slow it down, but you won't stop it. Stefanski will be on the sideline smiling, clapping, giving those polite congratulatory nods with the energy of a man who just realized his job is turning into a supporting role in someone else's movie. Coaches who cling to the system get replaced. Coaches who unleash a superstar get documentary interviews years later while holding trophies. Cam is basically yelling from the mountaintops that Stefanski might make the wrong choice. Not out of strategy, but out of pride. Cam isn't attacking Stefanski. He's diagnosing him. He's speaking like a man who's lived through this exact storyline before, with a coach who wanted a star quarterback, but not one who shifts the entire power structure. Shedeur shifts the power structure simply by showing up. You can almost hear the imaginary monologue in Stefanski's head. I want a talented quarterback, but do they have to be that talented and that confident and that famous? This is the real battle. A coach who struggles with giving up control versus a quarterback who never once pretended he should. And that's why this story isn't cooling off. It's heating up fast. Every tiny moment will either tighten or loosen that invisible rope between Shedeur Sanders and Kevin Stefanski. And eventually, maybe week 1, maybe week 10, maybe deep in the playoffs, something is going to snap.
For Christ's sake. And name the rookie quarterbacks that's in the league right now. I give you one, Cam Ward. Okay, what Shedeur Sanders showed the Cleveland Browns and the Cleveland faithful is this. He is capable. Dylan Gabriel hasn't given you that yet. I wouldn't say we're jumping the gun, but he's also in a rookie, and he's able to get spared certain things because he's new to this. Sure. Now, what the natural instinct showed is something that you can build off of. Right. And if Kevin Stefanski does not make that move, it will be abundantly clear what's the reason and what's really going on.
Either Stefanski embraces the chaos and becomes the coach who unleashed a superstar, or he resists the chaos and becomes the coach who stood in the superstar's way. Cam Newton didn't break the news. He broke the silence, and now the entire league has popcorn in hand. If you're enjoying this breakdown, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe.